Hello there for the first time in, I don't know, months. I think I've done about 4 videos for the entire year or whatever. So I thought I'd round off the end of 2024 with a bit of an update on everything I've been doing and why I've been filming no videos and probably not racing or not doing a lot in general. So you would have seen the new car on the thumbnail. I will definitely get to that soon. But first, I guess I'll just explain maybe why I haven't been filming videos and why I haven't been racing or anything. So first and foremost, just been absolutely flat out with work. And like I've sort of explained before, day job is like sort of, that's the first, then you got family, and then, you know, everything else past that is is a luxury of time that sometimes you don't have. So been very busy this year with work and just being exhausted and not wanting to come out and do stuff. It's harder to film at night, and when you've only got a limited amount of time and motivation to get something done, just really hard to get up and about to film. So one thing you'll see is the RX-7 is ready to go back on the dyno. So hopefully going on the dyno probably in about 2 weeks time. Went back on the dyno and I did film it, but I never uploaded any of the stuff because I had the same issues at the dyno that I did at the racetrack. So pretty much have come to the conclusion that the only thing I really didn't change from the 2 things that didn't change in the entire car over that period where we had all the issues and I was changing things here and there, the only 2 things that didn't change were Fuel-Tech ECU and Fuel-Tech CDI. So the CDI is now gone. It's out, I believe. We returned it to Fuel-Tech Australia, and I believe they sent it overseas, but I haven't heard back on as to if it did have a problem, confirm it or whatever in that. Their suspicions was it looked like it may have had a problem. So I've actually got an old MSD Disc 2 HO, 2 of those Disc 2 HO boxes now. Those boxes have been around forever and a day. These are some older ones, and they're not modern ones where I think everyone knows that some of the stuff in recent times from a lot of manufacturers now get made in China to who knows what kind of quality levels and whatnot. But the boxes that are in this thing now, are good old-fashioned ones. They hide somewhere in the car over there, but they're old ones that actually my old ones that I'm borrowing back off a friend that I sold to him a long time ago. So I'll see how they go. Probably have to give them back to him at some point in time. And in that case, honestly, I'll probably run the MSD. I'm not 100% sure if you buy new ones and get a decent one. So I may actually run the Microtech CDI. That seems to be a pretty good box or whatever. So we might run that in the future. Also took the intercooler off. Main reason was the original setup where the fuel tank is and everything in this car, where the fuel rigs are and all the lines and hoses over in the corner here and the fuel cell over here. It just wasn't conducive to it being worked on to be able to do any maintenance whatsoever with the intercooler. Now, I mean, did it need an intercooler to start with? Well, no, but I explained why I put it on there because it essentially got bored because of all the issues we're having with the car, and I just wanted to try something. So I've decided just to take it off now because, it was so hard. I actually had a fuel leak around here where the fuel filter is at the track the first time we went out with the intercooler, and couldn't see it. Could not see it, and then to try and tighten up the hose was an absolute struggle. So I don't want that anymore. So going back to tried and true setup. I do have another couple of injectors in here now. So the only other stuff that's changed is I have like 4 of the big Fuel-Tech injectors, 2 Deckers, and I now also have 2 Bosch 2000s in there as well. And the reason for that is, peak sort of duty cycle for a rotary, say at like 9,500 RPM is like 6.6 milliseconds, and I've explained this before too. So if you're driving in that cycle event, if you overdrive the injectors, then they're basically out of control and stuck open. I just want to protect the setup that I have and make sure it's all good. So we'll go back at the dyno with all that injector I've got the fuel solenoid I can turn on that also supply enough fuel for essentially like a 2000cc injector just through a mechanical nozzle as well. And then I'll probably get another fuel solenoid with another 2 nozzles in there that I can turn on via the PDM at like 3rd gear and a certain RPM it will turn on, which I'll base that around basically being half track, which is, you know, how you keep these things alive, just dump fuel in them. So that's that. In terms of RX4, I haven't really done anything. The problem with the RX4 is more the amount of work that I have to do is small, but the amount of work I have to do in order to get to that amount of work is large. So essentially, it runs and drives and everything at the moment. But in order to take it to the engineer to show them that it's all good, I pretty much have to disassemble the entire car and then weld a few little panels that I need the engine and trans out to do so. And to do that, it's just a bit of a pain at the moment. So I've been leaving that. I also invested time in this because I want to race this and I want to do what I set out to always do in this car. So I invested some time in this. So in between just having the cars, we'll run over now sort of what I've been doing as well. And that is I've been insulating the entire garage. Now, not just insulating it, I've actually changed a lot of the stuff. So you can see there was another rack of shelving here that I've changed and put some like melamine shelving in there. I've cut down the shelving that was here, and as you can see how close this car is to here, it's actually given me enough room to be able to, say if it was here on the hoist, to be able to actually drive out before, where it just wasn't like that before. So these boxes that are on the ground also sit, as you can see here, normally, which, you know, if I can get these off the ground, it gives me about another 150, gives me almost about another 250, almost 300 mil there. And they will actually go in here now, in this shelving, because this shelving's basically been stripped here and here, and I've put all the boxes in here. Now, as you can see, it's like, this is 12 mil, just 12 mil plyboard, chipboard or whatever. Do not screw just stuff directly to chipboard if you want to carry, have it carry weight. So what actually sits behind here is, in between these two battens, up here and here, I have like a 90 by 45 timber, stick timber basically, and they get screwed like here and up there just to hold them in place. But what that does, because these are incredibly strong, this whole frame is incredibly strong, it gives it extra support to be able to screw it to. So all those, where you can see all the brackets, they're actually screwed into those, into that stick timber there. So this is pretty much done. I need to do obviously the back wall and that little wall just there, but I will probably do that wall in the next day. I'll do the back wall a day after. So hopefully I will have all the walls done, you know, by New Year's Eve sort of thing. And then I've got to do the entire roof. So I need to get a scissor lift to do the roof, obviously, but I need to get sheets first. So these sheets are 3600 by 1800, which I cut in half because it's just way too hard to manage a 36 by 1800 12 mil sheet and try and lift it in place by yourself. They're actually really heavy. But I got those sheets for about, through Facebook Marketplace, for about, they're like $10 a sheet or something. And the roofing sheets, I don't want that thick, just because I don't want that extra weight on the roof hanging down just in case they fall or something. But also, they don't need to be that thick. So I'm trying to find something like OSB or something, or just 6 mil sort of particle board, but having a hard time trying to find them, because every time I sort of can come across them, they're around about $30, $35, $40 a sheet. And, you know, if I can find them like secondhand, 2400 by 1200 sheets for like $15 or whatever, you know, the amount of sheets I need to buy, it's almost like a $500 difference. So it's a big difference. So you can see the lights I've got up here too, just normal fluoro battens. A couple of them don't work, so I'm looking to replace those with UFO style, as they call them, LED high bay lights. So I've got one now that I've just bought that is, so these battens, I think each tube is about 3,500 lumens. So twin batten is about 7,000 lumens. These high bay lights, each one is something like 30,000 lumens, which is ridiculous. So I've just bought one at the moment. Tonight I'll come in here and I'll lay it on the ground and I'll just see how wide the spread is, because I don't know, as you can see, sort of, I've got a batten there, and then I've got a batten there. So I don't know if I need a high bay, just one in the middle here, or if I'm going to have one that side and one this side sort of thing. You just need to understand the spread and the intensity of that light. At the same time, this is a 500 watt high bay. So I don't know, they make like this 50, 100, 200, 300, 500 sort of one. So just need to work out what the light spread will be if I need to put one either side, because they're relatively cheap. So I don't care about putting too many up, but at the same time, I don't want it to be so bright. Like right now, I can look and stare up at the ceiling or whatever and look at these lights, and they're not too bad. I don't want to be in here looking up at the ceiling for some reason, then being completely blinded for the next 10 minutes because the lights are actually too bright for this space. So other reason why I need great lighting is I'm going to be blocking off the entire ceiling, because obviously I put a lot of clear sheets in here, and I just wanted a lot of natural light in here to help, not having to run the lights during the day and stuff like that. But the clear sheets let in light, brings all the heat in as well. So that they bring in way, way too much heat. So I just need to get rid of, I'm going to blank off the entire roof. Essentially the method for this is, it's a layer of chipboard, then a layer of fiberglass insulation, and then the outside it's a layer of a waterproof membrane. So just in case, I've never actually ever seen the inside of this garage sweat once, and that's where you get condensation on the steel walls, because obviously the heat difference between inside and outside, they can condensate. Melbourne's a very dry state, so I've never ever seen any condensation at any point in time in the year out here whatsoever. But just in case, I put that on, and that's why it actually looks really messy, because the only way I could get, I tried to glue this fiberglass insulation to the particle board. It didn't stick. I tried to staple through the membrane and the particle into the particle board, and it just ripped. As soon as you try and wrestle it into place, it just ripped through it. So what essentially I've done is, at like, sort of, you can see it on this one, at like multiple points, I just wrapped some tape around, some just ducting tape, and that held it on really well. And then once they're all screwed in place like this, it's held in place and it's fine. So what I'll do is once I get the scissor lift in here to do the roof as well, is I'll cut away all this tape, trim up the excesses, and then I'll probably paint all these walls like a really light grey or a white or something really reflective to reflect the light. So it won't look like complete arse like this at the moment. It will look properly finished. You can see the outside's bowing out a little bit also. That's because they haven't been screwed into those battens up there, because I know I'm getting the scissor lift, so there's no use trying to risk my life and get up there with the bloody ladder and leaning up against there and trying to screw it in. So bugger that. I'll sort that out later. But yeah, everything. I think the plan is that, more storage, more space. And the reason I needed more space is because, obviously, as you've probably seen in the thumbnail, I now have 3 cars. So let's go take a look at that third car and why I bought it. What do you think about the car? You don't care about anything, do you, champ? All right, so here it is. It is a, I don't know, Schumann's like 78, 79, Series 1 RX-7. If you're from America, you probably call this an FB. But yeah, in Australia, wherever else in the world, it's an SA22C Series 1. So Series 1 through 3. Series 1 is very, very distinct in its bumpers and its lights. And this is a really lovely version of it. So As you can see, there's a little bit of rust, a rust repair done there. There's a little bit of rust here, and there's a tiny bit of rust here. But overall, it's a really nice car. It has a fiberglass, like a one-piece sort of bonnet and little nose cone there, which is, it actually really looks really nice. It's obviously had a little ding here, which is fine. Can patch that up. Yeah, what do you think about it, champ? Yep. So it's got a really nice, like, sort of lipped spoiler, all one piece as well. And yeah, the main reason I mean, I've been looking for one of these for quite a while. So the main reason I bought it was because it's so light. So everyone should know drag racing is about horsepower. And about how fast you can go, essentially, but the cheapest form of horsepower is weight. So the RX-7, the FD RX-7 I should say, because this is also an RX-7, the FD RX-7 weighs, with me in it, about 2,650 pounds. This thing, fingers crossed with me in it, may weigh a bit over 2,100 pounds. Now, that 500 pound weight difference literally means about 350 or so horsepower. So essentially it means that how fast I can go in this car, I'd have to make another 350 or more horsepower with the FD just to go as fast. So I think some of the numbers are like, if I was to run like an 8.0 or even an 8.1 or something in the FD, transferring everything from the FD straight into the chassis, this thing would run like 750 or something like that. And that's how big of a difference that weight makes in drag racing. So that's why I've been looking for one of these for a couple of years now. They're super light, they look nice, aerodynamic. So yeah, this one come up, and let me take you through some of the reasons why I jumped on it when I saw it. So it's obviously been around for quite a while. You can see it's actually got Andra, two Andra Tech inspections there, but it's got a full legit Andra cage. So there's step one. I do not have to do a roll cage for it, which is great. It has some Kirky seats in it already. I don't think I'm going to run these. I'll probably run the seat in my FD at the moment. It's got a dash, throwback to old school autometer gauges and that. It's got a big tunnel, and yeah, it's already had a lot of stuff done. So it's got also, the doors have been gutted. It's got Lexan windows. What are you doing, champ? You're not going in. You want to go in? Get in. Come on, Bob. Take a look. You're going to drive it. You idiot. Get out. Go. And it's one of the best things is it has a 9-inch in it. So it has professionally built 9-inch that is a direct bolt in for this type of car. The reason why the bolt-in 9-inch is so good is it's got 31 spine axles, no center, but it's got big brakes. It's got the globes and the 28x9s on it, which they'd be that old, but you know, they're just there for mock-up anyway. And it's got the wheelie bars. Now, I'm not going to use any of that. I'm going to four-link it like I've got the FD, but that means I'll be able to recover some money out of this car because, I mean, you know, you have a look at, say, stop drinking down there, buddy, making noises. You have a look at, say, Pack Performance. If you want to buy a complete diff for a bolt-in, a 9-inch for a Gen 1 RX-7 with a center, it's about $11,000 or so, $11,000 or $12,000. There's other guys out there that make diffs and that too. They're well known, and you know, they're also, I think, even with that center, they're like $7.5, $8,000. So, you know, this one, built by a professionally built business as well, has got to be worth some decent money. So I'm probably going to whack the diff and the wheelie bars for sale for, you know, probably the wheels, the tires, the diff and the wheelie bars for like $4,000, and it's well and truly worth it because, like I said, if you've got a Gen 1 RX-7 and you want to put a 9-inch in your car, you either, you know, you ring Pack and you pay $12,000, or you ring this other, you know, other professional companies that build diffs and that, and you pay, you know, $7,000 or $8,000 with no center, or you can buy a complete setup and, you know, for $3,500, then just whack you know, your $2,000 center in and then, you know, go racing. So if you know anyone with an RX-7, Gen 1 RX-7 that wants a bolt-in 9-inch, less center, for them to go racing, tell them to hit me up, because you will not get a better setup that is in this. But let's take a little closer look at the engine bay. All right, so not only does it have the awesome sort of one-piece bonnet nose cone thing, it actually come with a fuel cell, radiator, etc, and that. So and look at the best part about it, look how big that tunnel is. It's killer. So I don't know how big that fuel cell is. I haven't measured it yet, but I assume, likely based on the age of this car, that it probably wasn't running on methanol. Maybe might have been on like C16 or something, but I know it could have been on methanol. But it just, the way that I race and how I have to drive to the pits, do a burnout, race, and then drive all the way back, I have like an 18-litre fuel cell on my car, and I don't think this one's going to be big enough. It might, but I'm just not sure. It just looks a little bit small. So the radiator, I think I'll use that. That looks pretty good. You can see how much room is up here, like front of the car, if I wanted to do anything with an intercooler in the future, if I wanted to do that, but I don't think I will. The biggest thing for me will be, the goal for this car is, obviously I want to run a 7 in the FD. That it was always my goal in the RX-7 to run a 7 in it, so I want to keep trying with the RX at the FD until that car runs a 7, and then when it does, transfer everything into this. So I'll probably make a new 9-inch for this with the same sort of falling geometry and everything from the FD, but I'll probably make a new 9-inch for this that I'll use the axles in the center from the FD in this, but and you know, I'll use the wheels, everything. So the only thing I really need to buy for this will be front hubs, because it's obviously 4-stud still. So again, if you know someone that wants to buy like 4-stud globes, let me know, because they'll be for sale. The biggest thing will be, once the FD's up and running, is to position the engine and everything in here and the trans, so that I've measured the wheelbase, and the wheelbase is almost the same by like close to like ½ an inch. So if I can mount the engine in an orientation that or position that I don't have to get like the tail shaft remade or anything like that, again, it's just money saved. So yeah, overall it's in really good condition. I can imagine that Davies Craig pump is probably like cooked, but I've got like the alloy version of it, the later model version of it anyway. But yeah, you can see stuff like the cage comes through the strut tower on that. So there's plenty of stuff in here that is perfect for what I need. This is an FD sump that I just had mocked up in there, so I'll obviously have to play some cut and shut games with the center cross member and the sump to get it all to work, to make sure I get the right oil capacity that I want and that. But yeah, it come with a breather tank. I think it takes the rear diff, the 9-inch actually has like big disc brakes and series 4, series 4, 5, 6, whatever, full pot calipers on it as well. So the diff is like perfect for anyone that wants super strong diff in one of these. You know, like I said, add your center and away you go. But yeah, the thing is super light. Like, it's just, I know it hasn't got an engine in it or anything, but I can literally just get my thumb and just move the car forward and back. It is super light, and again, that's the reason why I bought it. It's just, I love the FD. I love how FDs look, and you know, they're obviously like a absolute killer iconic car, but drag racing is about going fast, and I have a better opportunity to go fast in this than I do in the FD, just because of how light it is. It'll just be easier. Drag racing is not easy, especially with a rotary, but yeah, I don't think I need any parts for this either, which is the best part. I just need to salvage the parts out of my current race car. So which is why I'm keen, obviously, to dyno the RX-7 and then keen to race it, so we can actually get this project underway, because yeah, quicker this one's underway, quicker we can get to the racetrack and that. So I don't envisage much work having to take place. Probably will have to paint it again because obviously this isn't painted. That is that. So the paint's really dull. I'm sure if you cut it back, it'd be pretty good. But yeah, I have to paint the whole engine bay because of how the tunnel looks. So I've got to paint the car anyway. And I was going to paint it white because all my cars are white and it's really easy to paint white. But I'll likely paint it like this, a bluey color or a version of a purpley blue, sort of like this anyway. So because I don't mind blues and purples and that as well. So yeah, that is about it. So more than likely next video will be like in 6 months or something. Who knows? But hopefully, fingers crossed, the dyno goes well, and I will make a video update after that that'll sort of maybe say I'm going to the racetrack on this day, and come out if you want to see us race, or you want to come see or whatever. So but yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, etc to everyone's watching, and then yeah, hopefully 2025 we'll see this one on the road. Until then, see you then.